Most of the people think that RAG actually solved the LLM retrieval issue, but as a backend engineer, I think there is a new technique and an architecture pattern that is more better than RAG and called GraphRAG, and I'll explain you why. If you guys don't know, RAG is basically a technique in which the LLM retrieves the data from an external doc before generating the answer out. RAG is basically not new. It's been out there from 2024. But now Microsoft and Neo4j.s have already incorporated them into their workflows. RAG primarily uses the vector DB, the doc, divides them into the chunk and store them into the embeddings, and embeddings goes into that vector DB. For example, a doc is sent as John is the CTO of a company. It divides this sentence into a chunk. Embeddings are basically the coordinates where they are stored into the memory of the data. You send a query, it gets converted into the embeddings, and the embeddings now are used to find the similarity search. This is the keyword here in the RAG approach. Find the top chunks from the external doc, and then that is fed into the LLM to produce an answer. Take it with an example. Let's say there are 3 docs that are stored into the external DB. That is, the John one is the CTO of Technova, and Technova acquired DataNest, and doc 3 is basically DataNest works in fintech. So this was the query that which fintech company is connected to CTO of Technova. In the RAG vector DB approach, it will not actually find this approach. It will get maybe the document 1 and document 3, and it will miss out the document 2 that is completely of Technova acquired DataNest. So it won't know the DataNest comes under the Technova. The John is the CTO of, and that's why the answer produced are wrong and the AI becomes on hallucination. Yeah, map the exact same example with a graph rag approach. Whenever the same doc has been provided, it chunks them and store them into the vector DB, but it also stores what we call a knowledge graph. So it builds the knowledge graph of each document. Now, when the same query has been entered that which fintech company is connected to the CTO of Technova, it starts from what we call multi-hop traversal. Start at Technova and find the acquisition edges. So that's the acquisition edges it's gonna find. That is the data net. It will use the fintech word here, and it will use the fintech and see which company relates to the fintech. That is again the data nest. Fintech works in the data nest. Data nest has been acquired by Technova, and Technova has the CTO of John. So John is the answer, and as a result, you will get the John because of the similarity plus knowledge graph research. Side by side comparison of the RAG and GraphRAG. So RAG basically works as you send the query, it gets into the vector DB, it does the vector search. GraphRAG, you send the query, it does the vector search and the graph traversal from the knowledge graph it has built of each document, and then whatever the answer comes, it sends that to the LLM. In this way, best answers are retrieved.